What's happening, guys? It's Friday, February 26th, 2021. This morning, we're going to talk about how to build a winning culture. How to build a winning culture. Let's get started.
It is ultimately important for you to look at your goals, truly what you want to do in your life, and then look at the people who you spend the most time with in your life and figure out if that lines up.
All right, guys, what's happening? Good morning to you. Happy Friday. Man, this morning we're going to dig into a topic that is near and dear to my heart. In fact, I just recorded a session of this exact topic for the World of Asphalt 2021 yesterday. So I'm going to share a little bit, the Cliff's Notes version of some of what I talked about yesterday for the World of Asphalt. That presentation was called Culture is King. But today we're going to talk about how to build a winning culture. And this, without a doubt, ties into not just business, but also your personal life as well. You know, the culture that you have in your life, in your business, man, it matters. And if you don't intentionally create a culture in your life and in your business, that culture will be created for you by people that may not always have the same exact vision as what you do. Hopefully they do, but not always. And so if you don't intentionally create it, and if you are not constantly reinforcing that culture, then you never know what happens, man. And that is not what any of us want in our businesses. And it's certainly not what we want in our lives. So before I get started, I want to say good morning to some folks. Jared Bird, good morning to you. Dayton, Tammy Clark, thank you for being here. 4:30 a.m. on the West Coast, man. Tammy is always here. So thank you so much for being here. Dean Dio, Hal Davis, Mr. Callaway, good morning to you. Ryan Austin, Doug Heckert, good morning, man. Randy, Rick, Carla, good morning to you guys, and thank you for being here. So let's jump into this conversation about culture here. So what exactly is culture? All right, so I'm going to give you the Wikipedia definition of culture here. Wikipedia says it defines organizational culture as having to do with the behavior of humans within an organization and the meaning that people attach to those behaviors. Let me read that again for you. The behavior of humans within an organization and the meaning that people attach to those behaviors. So they go on to list a number of other factors that contribute to company culture. But I would say that this contributes to culture in general in our lives as well. So in this case, they're referring to business, but company vision, values, norms, systems, symbols, language, assumptions, beliefs, and habits. So that's a little complex, right, for my liking. So I like to break things down into just normal English. And in normal English, we would say that organizational culture is just the personality of your business. Or if you're referring to your life, it's kind of the personality of your life. What does it look like? You know, how do you behave every day? And again, I'll remind you, this is not the personality of your business that you choose. It's the one that exists when you're not around, if you're a leader. It's the one that exists when nobody's watching. So how do you intentionally create a winning culture? The number one thing that you have to do is that you have to be an evangelist for your cause and for what you stand for. Remember that. Everybody knows what an evangelist is, right? You can think back in time to those evangelists that you can think of. Somebody that's evangelical about their cause. Somebody that's out in front, always spreading the message, right? Always reinforcing what they believe and why it's important. Martin Luther King, great example. Mother Teresa, great example. Mark Zuckerberg, Elon Musk, very evangelical about their cause. So I want you guys to think about that. Or are you being an evangelist in your own life? If you're thinking about that from a parenting perspective, are you being evangelical about what you want your family to stand for? Are you being evangelical about the example that you're setting? Is that consistent? Or is it confusing? Constantly be evaluating that message. If you're sending a message, that message should evolve. And I'll remind you one more time, when I say your message, it is not just what you say, but it's also what you do. Your actions have to align with that message. If your actions do not line up with what you say, you will not have a solid culture because people will not trust you. So you have to constantly evaluate your message, meaning what you say and what you do. And is that in alignment with where you're trying to go? Culture is really created by three things within a company, and that is your values, your mission, and your vision. One of the things that I say all the time is that, within your company, the dreams of those people in your company, everybody that works there, if you're the leader, those dreams of those people, every single person's dreams have to fit within the vision that you have. And if they don't, those people are going to question whether they're in the right place. So you build a winning culture by constantly casting that vision, constantly reinforcing to people where you're going, what you're trying to accomplish, and setting the example of that. Setting the example of the work that you put in, how you do it, how you follow up, the energy that you bring, the motivation, the inspiration. You have to show people, not just tell them. You have to show people. One of the things that I think is so important, and I think that there are times where we all fall short on this, is to take that time to step back and just have genuine, real conversations with people. Show people that you care. Send them caring messages that reinforce what it is that you say, the culture that you want to create. If you create a great culture, it's going to come as a part of making the people part of the process. When you allow your people to be part of that process of creating the culture, when you throw it out there and you listen, you ask a question and you genuinely listen for the answers. You actually want to know what's going on in your company, how you can be better, how you can possibly make it a better experience for people. When you do that and you make them part of the process, you will have an electric culture that is unmatched compared to other companies in whatever it is that you do. I promise you. Most people in business don't listen to their employees. They say they do, they think they do, but do they actually listen? Do they actually have a clue what people want within their business? And the answer is, I've worked for a ton of people, and most companies, I'm not trying to knock anybody, but most companies don't actually listen. They just don't. I want to remind you of one more thing here. The company becomes, most of the time, whatever the default emotion of the leader is, or the leadership team. So ask yourself this question: what is it when something happens? What emotion do you go to first? Is it anger? Is it fear? Or is it care, patience, inspiration? What is it? What are the things that bubble up in you? Automatic. What is it? Whatever that default emotion is, if it's not something that you desire to have, the good news is this, guys. You can absolutely reprogram that default emotion. How do you do it? You get around different people. You get around people that have the emotions, the default emotions that you desire. You start to duplicate some of the things that those people do. That can be rewired, but your default emotion will absolutely become part of your company culture. Your emotions as a leader are a big deal. So remember that and think about that within yourself. How you build a winning culture, it starts with you if you're a leader. If you're not a leader within your company, it kind of still starts with you, because whatever you're putting out there into the company is going to come back. It's going to contribute to the culture of the company. And when you build a great culture, when you build a winning culture, that winning culture is almost automatically going to start to build a community of people around your company. You're going to start to have an entire community of human beings that support you. I am fortunate enough to be able to say that our company, actually all of my companies, are surrounded by people that believe what we believe, that are on the same mission, that are trying to do good for the world, that are trying to make an impact. There are values that the people that watch this show share, or you wouldn't be here, or you wouldn't stay long if you were. If you didn't believe what I believe, you wouldn't stick around long, right? So when you start to build that community of people around you, man, never, ever, ever take that for granted. Be so grateful and pour into that community as much as you can. That community will help your team expand in ways that you can't even imagine. They will have strength that they've never had before, confidence that you've never seen in them, and they will feel more powerful than they've ever felt in their life by being surrounded. The culture of your company, the nucleus culture of your company, becomes surrounded by a community, another culture that reinforces it, that protects it, that encourages it. So I want you to think about that. When you are creating a winning culture, it should be infectious. Infectious to the point that other people are attracted to it. Other people comment specifically on, man, what is going on at your company? There's something unique there. There's something different. Man, we want to be part of your team. So it doesn't just solve a business problem. It solves all of the problems because people want to support your company. It solves a sales problem. It solves a recruiting problem. It solves a teamwork problem. And in fact, it'll solve most of the problems that you have yourself, because a great company culture, a winning culture, will keep you honest. I'll be honest with you. I haven't felt the greatest all week this week. Haven't been myself, right? But I have surrounded myself with a culture of people, with a group of people that always push me back on track, always remind me of why it is I'm doing what I'm doing. Comes from all different angles. If you guys did not watch hashtag Rise and Grind this morning, or you weren't over on Breakfast with Champions over on Clubhouse, man, I encourage you to go watch Glenn Lundy's show from this morning. It was an unbelievable show with this young man that Glenn brought on to his show that I never in a million years, man, I've never heard a 21-year-old man, I'm not even going to call him a kid, man, share so much knowledge and wisdom. And it inspired me in a way that I can't even tell you, man. I had tears running down my face this morning, listening to this young man speak like literally words from God into the world, right? And I want to tell you guys, like, that is part of the culture that you can build, right? Like, I have done this by design to surround myself with people that when I don't feel good and I'm not feeling like myself, that my friend Glenn Lundy can bring somebody like Zonti. You got to go follow this guy. Go follow him on Instagram, follow him on Clubhouse. He's got a page here on Facebook. I bought some of his gear this morning from his website. This dude literally pivoted my week. You know, I go hard every day, regardless of whether I feel like it or not. But that dude put wind into my sails this morning like I can't even describe to you. I literally had tears running down my face listening to this dude this morning. And that's culture. And that, friends, is what you want to be to other people in your company, other people in your life. You want to be the light that knocks somebody back on course. You want to be the person that's there for people to make their week better. Sometimes all that takes is listening. All that takes is being a friend instead of being a leader for 5 minutes. It takes being grateful for the things that you have. You know, I had a conversation this week with Chris Saunders, who spent some time in Pittsburgh here this week. And we were talking about, man, that just this idea of, we talk about blissful dissatisfaction all the time. You know, this idea of being blissfully dissatisfied, meaning, you know, you want to be, you never want to be satisfied, but you want to be satisfied with where you are, but never satisfied with where, you know, enough that you don't know where you're going. And I said to Chris, man, we should look up the definitions of those words so that we can understand what that means. Blissful, here's what it means. Blissful, extremely happy, full of joy, providing perfect happiness or great joy. So you can't be blissfully dissatisfied without being blissful first. Think about that. So many of us spend a lot of time in that, the lack of satisfaction. We're always driven. But are we taking the time to be blissful? And I say that to you because I think it's important for you to be blissful with your people. Creating a winning culture is not always spending time in the dissatisfied side. That's kind of how we are as entrepreneurs, as leaders, as, you know, people that want more, that are trying to build something great. But it's important to spend that time being blissful, meaning extremely happy, full of joy, providing perfect happiness or great joy. If you don't do that part, blissful dissatisfaction doesn't work, does it? And if you're only dissatisfied, what is that message to your people? So it's important to keep that balance, to be grateful for everything that's happening to you in the moment. And if you do that and you can keep the right attitude and you can inspire people and you keep knocking them back on track, you're going to build a winning culture, guys. You're going to build a culture that nobody can take down. That when people that enter that culture that don't belong, that culture will correct that. You don't have to. Think about this, guys. That transitions from business into your personal life. What does the culture in your personal life look like? What's the tone that you set? What are the boundaries that you have in your life that you allow to be violated? What do the people around you look like? I mentioned this on Clubhouse this morning, but a great exercise to do is to write down the 5 closest people to you. Write down the 5 people you spend the most time with. Then make a column over to the right and take the top 3 to 5 characteristics you can think of that those 5 people as individuals, each one of them, what do they have? The 3 to 5 characteristics that each one of them have. And you may find out that some of those people you're spending a lot of time with, man, they do not line up with where you want to go. And so as much as we all want to help people, man, we have to recognize where we're at, where we're going. And that, friends, is what creates your culture. What you tolerate matters. What you tolerate, you are ultimately endorsing, right? And so sometimes it's as easy as just making that list, just thinking about those 5 people, thinking about the characteristics of those people and what do they bring to your life? Are they bringing fear, negativity, doubt? Or are they bringing confidence, positivity, redirection, perspective? Think about that, man. Think about who it is that you have in your life and what kind of culture that is creating. Is it creating a winning culture for you? Or is it taking the wind out of your sails when your ship is sailing in wide open water, man? Anybody ever have that happen? You're just having the best day and somebody just rolls up and takes all the wind out of your sails. And that happens. But ask yourself, does it happen to you all the time because of the people you're spending time with? Those people in my life, man, that align with where I'm trying to go and bring so much value, joy, inspiration, motivation to my life, I want to do everything in my power to spend time and space with those people. Everything in my power, because I am a better man, father, husband. Everything I care about gets better when I spend time with the right people. No question. So who are you spending time with, and what is that doing for your culture, in your business, in your life, all the way around? How you build a winning culture, guys, is by being very, very attentive about what's going on around you, being evangelical about the cause that you stand for, what it is you want your company, your life to be, your family. Showing people you care, taking time to listen, giving generously, being grateful for what you have, always keeping your eye on the prize where you're trying to go, but being grateful first, blissful dissatisfaction. That's it, guys. The personality of your business, the personality of your life, it comes from you. It comes from the decisions that you make, the actions that you take. That's it, guys. I hope this message was helpful for you, man. I hope that it caught somebody right at the right time. That young man's message this morning caught me at the right time, man. It literally, I can't even explain it to you, man. It breathes so much life into my day that I hope that enthusiasm and that energy transition to you guys. I hope you think about what's going on around you, the culture that you have created or that you are in the process of creating. The culture in your life and in your business is the single most important thing you can care for. You are the culture that exists around you. That's who you become. That's who you are. So be careful with it. Be intentional with it. I hope you guys have an awesome Friday, man. And I will see you again Monday morning, same place, same time on Morning Perspective. Thanks for being here, guys. Love you guys.